created first application. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So just revise. Just we are going to revise what we discussed yesterday, and we will continue from there in today's session. Okay. So yesterday we just revised, like we created one more Spring application, and we created one more Spring Bean class, and we configured inside the beans.xml file or in Spring XML file, and we created object for that bean class. So the class name what we created is yesterday product class. We created product details, and then we configured inside the beans.xml. So the same example we saw on the last week also, but yesterday also we created with respect to new class. And apart from that, what we discussed yesterday, we discussed like the types of dependency injection. So we started the discussion about the types of dependency injection in Spring Framework. Okay, so the types of dependencies, we have three types of dependency injection, basically two types. Okay, whenever we are taking XML configuration, we can achieve only setter injection as well as constructor injection. But if you are going for the annotation configuration or Java configuration, so then the Spring Framework supporting along with setter injection and constructor injection, even we can do field injection or property injection. Okay, what is a field injection and all we will see when you are moving to the annotation configuration and all. Okay, so step by step we will complete all the things. Okay, so in real-time projects, I told you nowadays most of the times 99% we are going to use Java-based configuration or annotation configuration. Okay, so there might be a chance of probability like 5 to 10% which they are using XML configuration, and at the same time it's our responsibility to have knowledge of XML file configuration. Okay, so that in case if someone else asks you how you are going to do the XML configuration, at least if you are able to explain them one or two examples on high level or medium level, so it will be a good advantage for you. So that's why we are going to focus more on the XML, and then more than that we are going to focus on the annotation configuration or Java configuration. Okay, so we will focus initially on more about the XML configuration, then we will convert everything with respect to annotation configuration. Okay, so after that we just taken the types of dependency injection. So now we started discussion about the setter injection. So why we are calling this injection as a setter injection? Because the Spring Framework, okay, yesterday we discussed this part. Okay, so what Spring is doing, whenever you are loading your XML file with respect to IOC container, whenever you are creating IOC container object and you are passing the XML file, what it is doing immediately, it is opening your XML file, it is scanning all your XML file, and it is finding how many beans you configured. So for time being, okay, we configured only one bean, that to the class related to the product details. So what it is doing, immediately it is creating object for the product details. Okay, after creating here the step is you need to understand. Okay, so first what is happening as part of the setter injection, Spring IOC creating object for our bean class. Okay, immediately it is creating object for our bean class with default values of instance variables, or we can call this as a properties also. Okay, properties also, we can use a real-time terminology called as properties. So what Spring is doing, whenever you are executing your program, and whenever this line is executed, it is the main line, whenever this line is executed, so what is happening internally and all we are discussing. Okay, so once you are loading your XML file, so Spring will go to your XML file, Spring will observe how many beans you configured inside this beans.xml file, So you configured one of the bean called as product details. So immediately what it is doing? Immediately it is going to create object with the default values. Default values of what? Instance variables. For example, if I open the, let me open the class product details. So I have how many instance variables I have here? 3 instance variables, or I can say like 3 properties are available. Okay, so 3 instance variables are available. So what it is doing immediately, whenever you are loading your XML file, it is creating an object with empty values, not empty, default values. I can call it as a default value. That means product name equal to null, price equal to 0, product ID equal to something, again null, because based on the data types. Okay, based on the data types, a default value will be assigned to the instance variable whenever object is created. So after that, the Spring IOC container, once object is ready, once object created, once object created means it's nothing but after object creation. Okay, after object creation, okay, Spring injecting the configured values of properties, into object. Okay, so what Spring is doing, first step, it is just going through your bean configuration, and it is feeling like, okay, these people are configured only one bean ID, one bean class, so let me create object for this. Okay, inside this you written all property tags. In between starting bean tag and ending bean tag, you written all property tags. So immediately it will understand like, okay, these guys are doing only setter injection, so let me create object with default values. That means it will not take these values. Immediately what it is doing, it is creating object with the default values of the instance variables. For example, product name equal to null, and then price equal to 0, and then product ID equal to null. So what it is doing, it is creating, understand the step number 1, our bean class with the default values of instance variables or properties. So what is the bean ID we given this? Product 1. Okay, after bean creation, after object creation, bean object creation, Spring injecting configured values of properties into object. That means as per our XML configuration, we configure 3 properties and 3 values. Okay, so then what it is doing, it is going to the property by property, and okay, so what Spring is doing, Spring calling setter methods with object created in step number 1. So in the step number 1, Spring created a bean object. What is that object? This is what the object, and the bean object name is product 1. Okay, so once product 1 is object is created, what it is doing, whenever you have property configuration, so in the next step what it is doing, calling setter methods with object created in this step number 1. So how many properties you configured? For 3 different properties: product name, price, product ID. Okay, these names should be always equal to the your Pojo class, whatever the bean class, right? Whatever the bean class you are configuring, that instance variables should be equal to these property names. Okay, so please make sure you are maintaining the as it is case sensitive and all. Okay, so now what it is doing, Spring, first it is taking the first property. So guess this property is converting internally as product. Let's do one thing, let's take the entire configuration here. Okay, so that means, see here, whatever the steps I am explaining, step number 1, 2 and everything, what is happening internally whenever you are executing your program, whenever you are executing your main program, and whenever especially this line is executed. Whenever this line is executed, internally what is happening and all, we are discussing what Spring is performing actually. In place of developer, actually, we will create objects, we will call setter methods, and we will, so generally this is the approach we will do in our core Java point of view or regular Java point of view, right? So we will create objects, we will call the setter methods usually, right? So, but here the same setup, the same thing is doing by the Spring framework. But before Spring doing the same activities, what we have to do? We have to configure values inside the Bean XML file and with respect to the properties and everything. Now, what it is doing? With respect to first property, the object name is something product one dot set product name like that. Internally, Spring is performing all these activities. As part of setter method, what is the value you are going to pass? String of the product name. So whatever the value you configured here, that will be passed here. So similar to this, you configured 3 properties. So for 3 properties, the Spring internally calling 3 setter methods. So Spring calling set followed by the second property called as price. Set price. See who is doing all these things? We are not returning this codes. So whatever the step number 1, step number 2, whatever I have highlighted here, these are all the things happening internally. Spring performing all these activities based on your Bean configuration. Okay, so that's why let's do here. What is the value given? Something 199. So the value will be passed to the setter method on top of the product one object. So who is performing all these things? Spring performing all these activities. Now when it comes to yes, you configure third property. So what it is going to do? Product one is the object name or Bean ID name. So set, it is going to call this set product ID, because you written the all setter methods inside the Java class. Okay, inside the product class, you written all setter methods. So whatever the setter methods you defined, those methods are calling by the Spring framework. Okay, so come back to the here example. Now it is going to configure the value like this, iPhone 14, something product ID, something assume like iPhone 14 2022 model or whatever it is. Okay, so just assume like this. So this is how the values are being injected. So now what Spring did here? Spring injected values of properties via setter methods of our Bean class. So that's why the overall process, how Spring is injecting values into object is called as setter injection. So the process is called as setter injection. Why the name given as a setter injection? Because as per this property tag, yesterday I told you Spring provided a tag called as property tag. Okay, Spring provided a tag called as property tag. So this is dedicatedly for the setter injection. So that means whenever you return property tags of the Bean tag, child tags for the Bean tag, okay, so immediately the Spring is understanding like, okay, these guys are performing setter injection. So it will create object for your class. Okay, it will create object. After creating object, it is calling all the setter methods internally and it is injecting the values whatever you configured. So this is what happening internally whenever the first line is executed in your program. So that's why whenever you are calling in the line number 16, whenever you are getting the product one object, so by the time in the memory what you have? By the time in the memory level, so assume like this is the object you have with the injected values iPhone 19999 and product ID is like iPhone 14, the value is something like that. Okay, so by the time you are requesting from the Spring IOC container, by the time you are requesting from the Spring IOC containers or Spring factory, IOC Bean factory, so by the time in the memory, the product one object injected by the injected with the values. So the as it is copy returns to you. So that's why whenever you are printing values, whenever you are printing the values, you can see the same values here. Okay, let's execute our program. So this is what we discussed yesterday also. Run as Java application. See the values what you configured inside the beans.xml file in XML file. So those are values you are able to print it. That means you are able to get from your object. But who injected these values into object level? Spring Framework injected into object level. Okay. Okay, so good. So until this part, good. So let's go back. So people, whoever is missed last 7 classes, you can observe in the chat. The admin is pinging all the details, fee details, admin details, and even demo class details and everything. Okay, don't ask me again in the end of the session because already admin is sharing. Okay, so I don't have details. Okay, just copy from there. Now, come back to our topic. Okay, so this is how the Spring is performing setter injection. It's a only basic example, but we have to go with more example with respect to setter injection. Now I have one more question. So this question is already taken in the last classes. Can I configure more beans for same class, for same Java class? Okay, in a simple English, can I configure more bean? Can I do more bean configuration? Or I can take, this is what, can I do more bean configuration? Can I do multiple or more, whatever it is, multiple bean configurations for same Java class? Is it possible? Any answer? Yes. Right? So we taken this example, even we proved it in previous also with respect to address. Yes, I can do same thing. So let's do again with respect to setter injection we will do. So okay. So I have already one bean configuration. I have already one bean configuration. Okay, just deleted empty lines. Okay. So this is what they already have one bean configuration for the product details class, for the product class. Now what I am doing, I am creating one more bean configuration for the same class. So do one thing, I am copy pasting it. Okay, so I can reuse the value, I can edit the values. Do one thing, I am deleting the ID value, I am keeping class as it is. I will give some other ID. So here bean ID, what is the ID you have to give? You can give any name, but it should not match with the already configured bean IDs. So you cannot give product 1 again here because product 1 is already being used. So you can give any other name, product 2 or something, whatever you want. Okay. So what you are trying to do here, you are configuring this same bean second time with a different bean ID and all. Now can I do setter injection for this bean as well? Can I configure the property values for this bean as well? Yes, right? So in core Java, you can create any number of objects. You can call setter methods on different objects. You will pass different values, right? So in similar way, but instead of you are doing all these things, who is doing? Spring is doing. With respect to core Java, so where we have that logic, yeah, here. So generally you will create multiple objects. So what you will do? Address 2.set product name. Set product name, you will give something like iPhone. Here you given something like iPhone details. So you can create multiple objects. Okay, you can create multiple objects and you are calling with different objects with different product names, right? But instead of we are doing all these activities, we are just informing to the Spring framework. How we are informing? By configuring inside the spring.xml file. By configuring inside the spring.xml file. So what you are going to do now? You are going to configure one more bean. You are going to configure one more bean. So where you are going to configure inside the beans.xml file. So I'm using properties are always same. Okay, so properties are always same because these are instance variable names. So class is same, instance variables are same. I'm copy pasting here. Okay, I'm going to modify the values. So see here, product 2. I'm configuring all the details about this Samsung phone or some Samsung product. Okay, so one property, yes. Similarly, I can configure for all other properties also. So do one thing, I'm just making copy paste, or you can type also. Okay, until getting comfort, you can type property name. What is the second name? For example, you want to set, price. Price is the second property name. So what is the value you want to pass? You can pass the cost of your Samsung mobile, whatever it is, value equal to something, assume like it is only 50,000 rupees. Okay, and the product ID. So let's do one thing. Property, the third property what I am configuring, product ID. So you can copy paste from your Pojo class also. It's better to copy paste from the Pojo class. Go to XML file. The third property is product ID, and you are giving the value something. Maybe assume like it is a something Samsung Galaxy or whatever it is, Galaxy model or whatever it is, Galaxy something, I don't know, S9 or whatever it is. So some random name I given, S8 or what. Okay, so what you did, you configured another bean configuration. We created another bean configuration for the same class called as product details, but you have to give different bean ID, and you can configure with different values. Now whenever you are requesting Spring framework for the product 2 bean ID, what will happen? By the time whenever you are requested, so what will happen? So save your changes, all your changes. Let's take this configuration with respect to diagram. Let's understand what you did. You added one more bean configuration. So do one thing, make it bold. Okay, so what you did, you added one more configuration. Now what will happen? Tell me. In the memory level, so first whenever this line is executed, again come back to the line by line. This line is executed. Whenever this line is executed, Spring opens your XML file. It will come to the first bean ID. So first bean ID is configured with the product 1 for the class called as product details. So what will happen? The same steps will be repeated. So whatever the steps we repeated here, the same steps will be repeated for the first bean ID. So that means first it will create the object, and after that it will call setter methods, whatever the values we configured. Now, so that means in the memory level, this object is ready. In the memory level, the object is ready with the product 1. In the memory level, the object is ready with the product 1. Now again, Spring comes to the second bean configuration. First bean configuration is completed. Now it will move to the second bean. So now what it will do again, it will create a object for the which class? Product details. The class is product details, and you are configured all properties. That means it's a setter injection. So Spring will create second object with the product details, again with the default values. Initially default values, and once default values are created, okay, again these steps, same steps will be repeated again for the second bean configuration. So object will be created based on your properties configuration. Again, Spring is going to call the setter methods on top of the new bean object. So in this case, what is the bean object name? Bean object name, bean ID product 2. So product 2 dot set product name Samsung. Product 2 dot set price 50,000. Product 2 dot set product ID equal to Samsung Galaxy S8. So like that, the same steps will be repeated for the another bean configuration. So that means in the memory level, what is going to happen? In the memory level, another object is created with the bean ID called as product2, and product name equal to Samsung. Okay, price equal to, so what is the value given? 50,000, and product ID equal to something what you given, Samsung Galaxy, something you given S8 and all. Okay, so this is how the product2 object is ready. Now in the memory, how many objects you have? Product1 and product2. So whenever you are requesting the product1 bean ID, then you will get all iPhone details. Whenever you are requesting the product2, you are going to get all Samsung details. So let's request the second product object from our code. Go to our code, main code. So this is all about the product1. So let me sys out product1 details. And here I'm just separating with sys out some stars and all, so that we can easily understand. So product2 details. Now what you are going to do, you are going to request the Spring framework. Okay, hey product, hey Spring, could you please pass me the product2? So what you are going to do, you are going to request from the factory get bean of bean ID. Whatever the bean ID you given, that should be passed here. So product2 you are going to give. So what it is going to return? Product details object. So you have to take product details and a reference variable product2. Okay, you taken a new variable, something product2. You can give any name here, prod2, product2, p2, whatever it is, it's no problem. But whatever the bean name you given, that should be mandatorily as it is, whatever the value you given as a bean ID. Okay, so now what it is happening, whenever line number 23 is executed, by this time in the memory level, the data is ready with Samsung 50,000, Samsung Galaxy S8 and all. So let's try to print same details are coming or not. Product2 dot get product name, product2 dot get product ID, product2 dot get price. Okay, so print it, run as Java application. See here, in the product1, you got iPhone details. In the product2, you got Samsung details. Now the question here it is, we are not created object for the product details. Even though two objects are available in the memory, but 2 times the object is created by the Spring framework. Only thing is, you are requesting from the Spring framework, you are using that object wherever you want. So you can call any other methods also. Whatever you defined inside the product details class, you can call any methods. Only thing is, with respect to this, what is the summary? What Spring is trying to do here is, okay, Spring trying to, just understand this statement, Spring framework trying to separate data. Data is nothing but the real-time customer data, real-time data. So real-time data is nothing but in place of variables, whatever the values you are storing, like iPhone, the cost 2 lakhs, 50,000, Samsung Galaxy Notepad, whatever it is, iPad. So these kind of values, that is what called as the real-time data. So Spring trying to separate real-time data, including as part of programming. That means as part of the programming or coding level. I can take one more word called as coding level. So that means, assume, for example, take core Java example again. Okay, so take these things, come back here. What I am trying to do with respect to core Java, yes, we were able to do same functionalities with respect to core Java. But with respect to Java, what you are trying to do, you are configuring the values in the programming level. So you are tightly coupled. This is what they called as tightly coupled. Spring is all about loosely coupled. Tightly coupled programming. So you are tightly coupling the values with the program level. Tightly coupling. So this is what called as tightly coupling. So that means with respect to core Java, with respect to our basic programming, we are tightly coupling the values of the real-time values with our objects. But with respect to Spring data dependency injection, that means with respect to Spring framework, okay, Spring framework trying to separate real-time data, including as part of the programming level. That means if you observe your code, you are not configured the real-time data anywhere else in the program level. You are getting object also from the Spring. Even that object, okay, go to the beans.xml, yeah. So you are providing all the real-time data as part of the XML. So that means the real-time values you are providing in a separate place, and those values you are providing in a separate layer or separate place, and those values are injected by the Spring framework into the object level, and simply you are accessing those values wherever you want. For example, assume now the advantage. So that means Spring is encouraging us, Spring is providing loosely coupled programming. So that means the meaning of it is Spring providing loosely coupled. So that means it's very loosely coupled. What is the meaning of? We will try to understand now. So Spring providing loosely coupled programming or loosely coupled concepts. So that means, for example, assume your, let's do one thing, address 3 dot with respect to core Java price, okay, and you maybe set the value as a something 32,000 or whatever it is. Now you want to change the value from 32,000 to something 25,000. You are applying some discounts. Now this value generally where you written as part of the program. So that means what you have to do, you have to modify data inside Java program, inside Java logic. That means the same line, you will go to this line, you will modify it as a 25,000. So you are going to modify it as a 25,000. So that means the change where you are doing, for small value change, where you are making the changes in the programming level, in the coding level, in the program level, you are making the change. So that means it's a very tightly coupled, you are changing value in the program level. But with respect to Spring now, tell me where you are making the change. So it's a loosely coupled, that means you are not disturbing. So with respect to core Java point of view, what you are doing, you are disturbing or you are touching the programming language, the programming code, the code you are touching here. Okay, you are tightly coupled logic with the, so the meaning it is logic with values. Okay, understand this. Tightly coupling means integrating values with our programming logic. Programming logic tightly integrated with the values. Okay, tightly integrated with the values. So this is what they call as tightly coupling. Here you may have in future maintenance problem. That means a project will be created today and that will be used for next 15-20 years. So whenever there is a change happened with respect to real-time values, for example, the Samsung brand changed to something Oppo. So you have to change here. That means you are changing in the logic level. You are touching the programming logic. So with that, there might be sometimes problems may occur. Okay, problems may comes, or what you have to do once you are making changes in the Java file, you have to do recompilation. You have to do recompilation to affect the latest Oppo name. What you have to do, you have to recompile your Java file. So these are all problems with it tightly coupled. But when it comes to the Spring framework, with respect to Spring framework, tell me what you are doing. you want to modify value from 50,000 to 25,000. So are you going to touch your Java logic anywhere else? Are you going to touch this Java logic, or are you going to touch this Java logic? No. So what you are going to do? You are going and making changes in this place. So that means you are not touching the Java logic, and at the same time you don't need to recompile the Java logic, so that you can avoid lot of problems. That is what the things. And at the same time, if you observe, all the data centralized at one place. If you observe, all the data centralized at one place. So that means you can easily monitor what are the values you configured as part of your real-time Java objects, as part of the Java objects. What are the values you configured? You can monitor everything at one place. So I created product class. Now I'm going to create one more class called as employee. So I will configure that data also here. I'm going to create one more class called as student. That is also I'm going to configure everything here itself. That means in a centralized place, you are configuring all the values in a separate layer, so that if there is a change in the price of the Samsung mobile, 25,000, you will come and change here. If there is a change in the iPhone price, then you will simply come back here and you will change here. So that is what I am trying to say here. Spring framework trying to separate real-time data, that means values, okay, whatever the values we given, including as part of the programming level, trying to separate. So that means Spring provided loosely coupled programming. So that is why Spring is always encouraging us with the going with this separate configuration for the real-time data, instead of directly writing these kind of logics in the program level. Instead of writing, that means what Spring is not expecting. For example, generally we will write down product details p equal to new product details, and then you will call p dot set price something price, and you will call like, you will write down logic like p dot set product name. So maybe assume like this is a product called as something MI phone or whatever it is. Okay. So this is how you are going to write down the logic. That means observe here, you are not at all integrated your real-time values with the program level, but here you are tightly coupling your data with the logic. You are tightly coupling your logic with the data. Data is nothing but this is called as data. Okay, so you are tightly coupling the values. But when it comes to the Spring framework level, you are not at all given any values in the Java programming level, even here itself. So Spring is given a separate layer, so that it will be very easy to maintain your program in future. If you want to change the values, instead of going and finding the Java files, opening the Java logic, for example, you want to change the here. So what will happen in real-time projects point of view? So this application, maybe assume like it is a servlet application, where you will deploy servlet application inside the Tomcat server. So what you will deploy? Var file you will deploy, but var file will contain only dot classes. But whenever you made some change from MI to some other phone, what you have to do? Again, you have to recompile your Java files. And then you will create a new var file, and then you will deploy into the Tomcat server, because you integrated, tightly coupled your logic with the logic level. So that's why you have to do that part. But if you are not maintaining at program level, you are maintaining as part of the XML file, do you really need to compile your Java logics? Because you are separated the logic values from the program level, you configured inside the XML. So whenever you just configured as part of the, okay, so XML file, Spring automatically detect your value, and Spring will reflect that value inside the object level without recompiling your program and all. So these are the benefits. This is just like a small benefit from the Spring framework. You are going to see multiple benefits like this. Okay, we are going to see more benefits or more customization with respect to Spring framework. Okay, so is it clear until this part why Spring is encouraging us separating the real-time values or separating the bean configuration? Why we have to give bean creation and bean configuration part to the Spring Framework? Yes. By the time you are loading your Spring application, by the time you are loading your real-time project, all the objects are created by the Spring Framework, so that and with the all default values and all. So that is what the idea behind it. We will see multiple examples, multiple advantages like this step by step. Okay, so let's do one thing. So your product ID you configure 2 times. So can I write down one more bean class? Yes, you can write down one more bean class. So let's take something. I'm creating order class. Okay, order details. For example, assume like you're going to order products from Flipkart, or you're going to order from the order food from the Swiggy or Zomato, right? So this is what. So just assume like we are going to write down with respect to Flipkart. Okay, so something order ID. You will, whenever you ordered, you will get some order ID, right? So something, your order is placed successfully. So this is what your order number for future tracking purpose. And what is the price of the order? So what is the final price you paid, right? So those kind of properties we will take as part of the order details. Okay, that is what I told you. So I will not take examples. Okay, so like A, B, C and all, I will try to take different things in the with respect to real-time project point of view. Okay, so because these are the class names, whatever I am taking here, all the class names I already written in the real-time project. So okay, we are using in the real-time project. Even in my current project also, I have same class with the same name, order details and all. Okay, so just don't be panic. I mean, don't be confused, or don't be feel difficult. Okay, maybe it might be difficult for first 1 or 2 examples with respect to my training, but once you are aligned to my terminology, once you are understanding my terminology, the way how I am writing the class names, the way how I am taking the variable names and all, okay, once you started the practice in the same manner, so that you will feel like after 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks, okay, somehow you are doing the real-time coding. Okay, the real-time terminologies are real-time coding by end of the spring frame. Okay, so maybe you may feel 1 or 2 days difficult. If I taken something like, okay, student ID, student name, yes, those examples are already gone. Okay, those examples already you learned as part of the core and advanced Java level. Okay, it's now you are on the framework level. Okay, so that's why I will try to take most of the times with respect to real-time project terminology only. Okay, so just make sure some little bit concentration. That's all you need to do. That's okay. So now what I'm trying to do, I'm creating one more bean class. That means I'm going to configure order details as part of my beans.xml. Okay, so now I'm changing the property types. Okay, I'm changing the different properties I will give and try to understand it. Any doubts until this part? Maybe. Sir, we can add other data type by property tag or not? Only string data type. So I added already string and integer. If you observe here, okay, that's what as part of this order details, I'm going to take different data types. Okay, just so as part of here we covered integer and string. In the order details, we will take different data types, double something like that. Okay, I will increase the complexity slowly, step by step. Don't worry that. Sir, shall we move forward? Yes, I am moving forward. Okay. Can we write bean inside the bean class? Inside the bean class. What is a bean class? What is a bean? So can we add other data type by property? Yes, I am coming to that part now. And server also we taking values from user real time also. Yes, any difference here? Yeah, so okay, the question is valid question from the Siddharth. So he was asking me like, okay, generally we will take values from the real time users. So for example, your first name, last name, whenever you are registering account. But tell me, for example, you are writing logic with respect to JDBC. Okay, you want to get JDBC connection always. So what are the details you want always whenever you want to get the JDBC connection, database connection? Username, password, URL, all these things, right? So now generally what you did, you will write down something like driver manager dot register driver connection, get connection, URL, username, password and all. So those username, password, URL, you are configuring inside the So let me open this example. So now you can understand the real-time point of view. Why we are configuring data inside the beans.xml. So with respect to JDBC example I will show you. Okay, instead of I am writing, we will open existing one. Okay, so see here what you are doing. You are configuring the URL, the username, the password. These three are mandatory whenever you want to write down a JDBC program or whenever you want to execute any query. Okay, whenever you are trying to write down multiple JDBC programs, multiple programs, but executing different queries, but these three details are mandatory or not? So, but where you written these three details inside the Java program, and whenever you are writing another JDBC program, again what you are going to do? Again you will write down the same logic in the next JDBC program, right? So maybe you practice 10 to 15 JDBC programs. What you did in 10 to 15 JDBC programs, everywhere you return all the URL details, all these things. See here, string URL and everything. But can you guess now what we are going to do in the real-time projects point of view? So instead of writing those things in the programming level, here you will create a bean object, DB connection. So something you are going to import data source classes. We will come back to that part. Okay, JDBC module level, Spring JDBC, and here you will give like URL and your DB URL, and here you will give username and you will give your username, and here you will give password, and here you will give database password. So how many times you are configuring? Only one time. So whenever you want database connection, database details, always simply you are requesting from the Spring framework. In any program you can request from the Spring program, hey Spring, could you please give me database connection with the bean ID called as DB. So automatically what it will return? A database connection object. Database connection object it is going to return. So you are avoiding the rewriting the logic again and again or not? Right? So you are avoiding the rewriting the username, password again and again not. That is what one benefit. And second benefit, okay, assume you changed your password. So basically in real-time projects or maybe password we can change it, right? So as a security purpose, keep on every 2 months or 6 months we will change the password. So what will happen in that case? Maybe by default your password is Dilip. After 2 months it is changed. If you return the same example, let me take a new thing, save it. Okay, so for example you return JDBC program 1, JDBC program 2, JDBC program 3, like this. Assume you return 15-20 classes as part of our real-time project pointer. Understand? With respect to real-time project pointer. In real-time project point of view, we may write down 100 times database connection and executing multiple different queries. Okay, you return in the 50 times. If you observe here, now you written here Dilip, password as a Dilip in this program. Here also Dilip. Okay, understand the benefit of configuring values at one place, configuring along with the program level. So these are all Java programs. Assume like these are all Java programs. Okay, connection. So something like insert operation, select operation, delete operation, or whatever it is. So now there is a change in the password from Dilip to something XYZ. So what you have to do with respect to our JDBC point of view, if you are integrated the logic with the, if you are integrating the real-time values with the Java level. So you are doing tightly coupling. If you are doing tightly coupling, what is going to happen? Again, you have to go to each and every Java program. You have to identify Dilip, and that value should be replaced with the XYZ. That value should be replaced with the XYZ. So this is what you have to do every program by program. Every program by program, what you are going to do? You are going to replace the actual value Dilip with the XYZ. Then only again you can establish connections with the database. So this is a disadvantage or not? Tightly coupling, that too you are configuring values in the program level. But when it comes to the Spring, what you are doing, the entire project level, you are configuring only at one place. Whenever you want, you are simply requesting the Spring framework, hey Spring, could you please give me connection object? Yes, Spring will automatically give the connection object. Okay, and you will execute your query. And there is a password change. In how many places you are making changes now? Okay, there is a password change. Now, with respect to Spring Framework point of view, there is a password change. In how many places you are doing? Only one place you are doing. Only one place you are changing the password and all. Okay, assume like this is a password and all. So you are changing only in one place. The name is password, you are changing it as a delete. Only in one place you are doing that. So this is what the advantages of the, yes, one place. So that is how you can save your lot of time with respect to now, take real time scenario only, okay? So here, every time you are going to write down database driver manager dot register get connection, driver manager dot register get connection, driver manager dot register get connection. So whatever the line you are writing, driver manager register driver, that is a common step for all the JDBC classes. And creating connection object is a common step for all the 50 classes. So automatically, when you are maintaining this bean configuration, how many lines of code you are reducing? Here, 2 lines of code. Assume like 2 lines of code. Here 2 lines of code. Here 2 lines of code. So totally, you are reducing 100 lines of code with one small configuration, with one-time configuration. So in this place, what you are trying to do? Simply you are requesting connection object from Spring. So only one line code you are going to write down. That too, Spring is configured. I mean, the database details are configured at one place. In future, there is a change in the URL or there is a change in the username. So maybe you change your username. So you will configure only one place, and that change will be reflected to all 50 places. The change will be reflected to all 50. Is it clear the advantages of why we are configuring, why Spring is encouraging the configuration at one place, and why Spring is encouraging configuring objects with the Spring framework? Because we given all these concepts, the object connection, object creation, connection, object creation given to Spring, given to Spring. That means in the Spring memory level, your DB connection is always ready. Your database connection is always ready. So whenever you are requesting connection object, yes, Spring will return you the connection object. Okay, go to the connection. Yes, this is the connection object like that. It is always returning the connection object. So as a programmer, are we going to worry about creating connection object every time in the 50 programs? No, you are just doing one-time configuration. One time Spring is creating object, and you are enjoying in the all 50 Java files or in the or 50 places you are enjoying it. It might be 50, it might be 100, it might be 1000. So in every way, simply you are requesting, you are executing your queries with the connection object. So these are the benefits from the frameworks. So what is the DAO class? So okay, DAO classes, we will come back to that layer and all. Just understand what is the things happening in the advantages with respect to Spring framework. Okay, so we may have better solution when we are moving to the other modules in the Spring itself. Okay, but timing, for as with respect to our core module, with respect to setter injection, or with respect to our initial Spring framework, it is a better example. Okay, let's come back here. Let's go to the next example. Okay, so slowly I will increase the complexity and I will move to the little bit, because we discussed the same example 4 to 5 times and what is happening internally. So now I'm going to write down order details class. See, I'm going to give private long order ID. Okay, maybe you are going to get big order ID and private. Okay, I'm writing a Pojo class property double price, order price, order price, and private. Okay, private list. So what I am trying to take here, list of strings. So that means product names. What are the products you order? Or order details, or order items, or items. Whatever the items you included as part of that order. For example, from the Flipkart we can order multiple items at a time, right? Or from the Swiggy, you can order 4 to 5 food items at a time. Finally, they will give one order ID, the overall price, and what are the items. So what I did taken here, so let's do one thing. Let me create private. So okay, so let's take these three properties. So with respect to product class, we handle for the string data type integer and as well as string inside the beans XML file. But here with respect to primitive data type, okay, anyway, however you configure for the integer, the same way we will configure the long and double. There is no problem. But when it comes to list, list is generally set of values or group of values. Group of values. So that means now what we are trying to understand here it is step number one, injecting primitives, okay, as well as injecting string data type, So we are already injected the string data type. We are already injected the primitive data types also. Okay, in place of integer, what you will just replace the long value or double value. That's all. Or you can take some boolean also. We will try that also. Okay. The third one is collection of values, collection objects. Nothing but collection object. That means it might be list, it might be set, it might be hash map, right? Yes. Our class may have dependency of list of values, set of values, hash map of the values. So we need to learn how we are injecting or how we are configuring collection of it. And the fourth one is the more important one, user defined objects are okay, user defined or predefined classes objects or simply other class objects. Simply other class objects. Simply other class objects. So, okay. So user defined or predefined classes objects or simply other classes. So we are almost done with the first point of view. Anyway, we are taking again primitives as part of our order details, how we are configuring it. So the meaning here it is how we are achieving setter injection with respect to different values, with respect to different types. Different types means different values. Okay, so let's create order class with long double and let's do one thing. I will write down private, okay, private. What are the other primitive data types? Integer, long, double. You can take short or whatever it is. Maybe 4 belongs to the same category. Double, float, both are belongs to the same category. If I take in double, you can practice with the float. So I can I take char or boolean? So I will take boolean. Boolean is order delivered. So something like order delivered or not. So it's a true false value. So totally I have 4 values here. So how I am going to configure here? See here. Run as, sorry, not run, sorry. Source, generate setter getter methods. Okay. So yes, I written a simple Pojo class with a setter getter methods. I did not written any constructor and all. We will come back to that part later. Okay, don't ask me about the constructor. We will take examples further. Okay. So yes, I am done with this. So the next step, what you are going to do? You are going to configure the class inside the beans.xml. So let me copy paste from the previous so that I can rename. Okay, let me delete this db. It's a non. We just take it from the example. Yes, these two are valid. So I'm going to create one more bean configuration for which class this time? Order details. Order details is the class name, and you have to include the package name also. So already you have a package name from the copy paste. Let me give order details, and you are going to give order 1. So something order 1 or whatever it is. So I given some bean ID as a order 1. So how many properties you have this time? 4 properties you have. So let me do one thing here. So how many properties you have? 4 properties: long, order ID, order price, items, as well as is order delivered. Okay. So do one thing. So here we need to understand how we are going to configure about the list of collection values. These are all straightforward. So see here, first property is, let's do one by one. What is our first property? Order ID. It is a long value. Okay, order ID, and let's give a long value here. So something I given out of range of integer. Okay, so order ID is something. Now come back to the second property, order price. It is a double value. Yes, you can find floating values. You can pass the floating values. See, if you are passing floating value here, you will get string will throw an exception like you are given price is an integer value, but you are configured as a double value. So like that, you will get a string exception. So your program will not be executed. Okay, please do that experiment from your level. So now, what is the second property? Order price. So copy paste it to avoid this spelling mistakes as well as case sensitive problems. So what is the value? Maybe assume like it is all about 333 or 50, something, whatever it is, some decimal value we need to indicate as well. So what is the third property? Boolean. Is it delivered or not? Okay, so go for the third property. What is the property name? Yes, is order delivered or not? Okay, so it's delivered. Assume like you have to give true false values. Okay, so you just need to pass either true or false with respect to Boolean values. What are the Java is allowing? Now it comes to the fourth property. Fourth value you need to understand a little bit. Okay, so generally it's a list of values. List of values means it's not like only one value. So something you cannot give like this, right? For example, give. So what is the fourth property? Property name is items. Okay, so you give an item. But what are the values you are passing? So something, assume as part of your order, you ordered something, Coke bottle. Okay, just assume like with respect to our Instamart or whatever it is, some Coke bottle you ordered, and some biscuit packet or maybe or some chocolate. Okay, as well as you ordered some water bottle or whatever it is. So chocolate or you can take anything. Some bottle, I mean water bottle. So assume like you ordered these three things as part of your order. So how many values you have to configure now? 3 values. So because it's a list of values, items is more than one. So you have to configure 3 of values. So that means can we configure as part of single value? So what is this single value? You can configure at a time single value. You cannot configure more than one value. So that purpose, what here Spring provided a child tag for the property whenever you have collection framework objects like list, set, all these things. Spring provided dedicated child tags for that specific property. So that means, observe here, I am not passing value here. So the first 3 are straightforward. Key value, something, property name, value, property name, value, property name, value. But here, property name is items, so that should be as it is. But here, I removed the value. So what I am trying to do, what is this object? List of objects. List of objects. So Spring provided for this scenario. Okay, so for list, Spring provided a child tag called as list tag. So what is the tag? List tag. It's a child tag of property tag. So understand very clearly, it's a child tag of the property tag. That means you have to write down inside the property tag. So come back here. So this property belongs to the items variable with respect to our instance variable. Yes, inside this I'm going to write down list of, inside this you are going to write down list of items. Okay, so I written XML comment. Here you are going to write down list of items. The variable name should be as it is. So you are going to write down what is the child tag, list tag, child tag. So see here you have list tag, starting tag as well as ending tag. Understand here very carefully. Okay, people will confuse more about the bean, but if you are understanding the logic, that's all very simple. It's a overall order class, and inside that 3 are straightforward primitive data types. So only property name, value. But when it comes to fourth property, so when it comes to the fourth property, it is a list of objects. Inside your Java class, you defined it as a list of items. Inside Java class, you defined it as a list of items. So you given a predefined tag called as list. Everything is small letters. If you observe here, almost every tag name, even attribute names, everything in the small case only, lower case only. Okay, so make sure that everything is in the lower case. You should not write down the upper cases, then your program will fail, your execution will fail. So now come back here. So I want to configure again multiple values. So for that, inside the list you are going to configure with value. So value I am going to give an O. Again the second value. So that means as part of the list, okay, as part of list tag, as part of list tag, Spring provided one more child tag called as child tag. You have to use value. You have to use value as a child tag. Observe here, value, starting tag, ending tag, in between the list tag, So first item, second item, third item, fourth item, fifth item, sixth item. So you can configure any number of values like that. So in my case, I have only 3 values: Coke followed by the some chocolate you ordered from the Instamart or whatever it is, and you ordered some water bottle or whatever it is. Okay, water bottle, you ordered something. Okay, so these are the 3 values we configured as a list of the items. So is it clear? When you have list of values, how you are going to configure? That too, the list is with respect to string data type. Okay, with respect to string, so you are configuring all the string data type. In future, we will understand how we are going to configure list of user-defined classes, something like list of employee objects, list of product objects, list of student objects kind of. So that part we will take later. So for timing, we taken string values. String values you take. So that's all. What is going to happen whenever you are executing your program? So you configured as part of the bean. So this bean configuration comes to, let's take example here. So very straightforward. Same thing whatever we discussed. So whenever your line is executed, the first line of the main method. So whenever bean factory object is created, it comes to the bean and bean.xml file. So it will create object for this bean, it will create object for this bean, and immediately it will come to the third bean. So by the time in the memory level, we will have product 1 and product 2. Okay, we are done explanation with the product 1 and product 2. Now you are going to have another object created by the Spring IOC container with order 1. So what is the object name? Order 1. Order 1 is the another object for the order detail class. So here first it will create object with the default values, order ID equal to something 0, order price equal to 0.0, is order delivered is something false, default value for the boolean is false, and the list is null. So that means items equal to null. But whenever you return the property tags, so the default values will be replaced by the property values what you configured. So however we discussed in the previous 2 examples. So now order ID equal to something, the double part, and similarly we will get order price order price. Okay, so assume like order price, whatever the value given, order price equal to something 300.50 or .00, whatever it is, round figure value. So is order delivered equal to true, and the fourth one is items. The fourth one is items. So it will be configured inside as a list of values, Coke, comma, chocolate, comma, water bottle or whatever. Okay, so this is how your object will be created. This is how the Spring will create the object for the order class, and it will inject the values of the primitive data types as well as list of the objects. So check whether it is really done by the Spring framework or not. Okay, so what is this? List of save it, image. Now come back to our program, test it. So how we are going to test it? First you need to get the object of the order details. What is the bin ID? Order 1. So come back here. Let me write down here itself. Sysout order details checking. So some separation to avoid the before sysouts. Okay. So here what you are going to do? You are going to request from the factory dot get bin of all these things. So factory object dot get bin of bin ID. What is the bin ID you given? Order 1. So what it is returning? Order object. So initially it will return as a object type superclass type, but you can typecast it. So the 2 lines I am writing in a single line itself with the typecast. Order details something order equal to, I am going to typecast it to the order detail. Okay, now you are ready with your order object. So print your details order dot get order dot get order ID. See, we are understanding how the Spring is performing the setter injection, how Spring creating the objects, how Spring injecting the values and all. We are trying to understand, and at the same time we are trying to understand like how we are configuring. Whenever you have a primitive data type, whenever you have a string data type, whenever you have a list of data types, list values, how we are configuring and all, we are trying to understand. That is what all about the Spring core module training. So the benefits and all we will understand in future modules also. We will see lot of benefits. So get order price. Come back to the next. So it's all about the fourth property we need to worry, because the remaining are all straightforward. Okay, is order delivered. So system, let's. So it's all about the fourth one. Get list of items. Get items. So see, now I am going to execute my program. What will happen? Until this part we know. So in this line, it will go to the Spring memory. So Spring will return this object. So that object is returned to inside this reference variable. Now whenever you are calling order dot get order ID, what is the order ID? Something 8888 and all. So these are the value it is going to print. Order price, order delivery. Whenever you are printing items, it will print the list of values. So see here, run as your Java application. So you got some problem. Just try to understand. I think I am expected this is order delivered. Okay. So only thing is, I know this is expected one only. So generally it's a getter method problem for the Boolean method. So generally when you take in help of the Spring, okay, when you take in help of the Eclipse to generate setter getter methods for Boolean type, especially for Boolean type, you will have this problem. See how this getter method is written for the is order delivered. So generally set order delivered, generally get order delivered, but here the Eclipse generated as a is order delivered. Generally it will be like set items, get items, set order price, get order price, but only for the Boolean the Eclipse is going to create like is in place of get. Okay, so please replace with the get. Please replace with the get, so that Spring by default we are calling. So see here the exception, understand first of all. Main method bean creation exception. So whenever Spring trying to create your bean object, for which bean, here they are clearly telling order 1 defined inside the XML file, invalid property is order delivered of the bean property is not writable or has invalid setter method. Does the parameter of the type setter match the return type of the getter? So it is not matching with the getter. Okay, it's a known problem. No. So only thing is, if you are taking Boolean, so if you are taking help of the Eclipse, if it is written with respect to is in place of get, convert it as a get. That's all. Now come back and execute. So here again you have to convert, make it as a get order. Sorry, get order delivered or not. Okay. So now let's execute our program, run as Java application. So again you got problem. Is order delivered. Wait. So again same error. So do one thing, order details. What we given in the beans dot is order delivered. Okay, give me just a second. We will close this error. Instead of leaving it, we will try to fix it. Is order delivered is not writable or has invalid setter method. So anything with the setter method problem? Set order delivered boolean is order delivered is order delivered. Generally it should work with these also, I don't know. So is order delivered, first thing, let's write down here get order delivered. Sorry, is order delivered. So why it is creating issue? So it's a private property, boolean is order delivered boolean is order delivered. Setter method void type this dot is order delivered equal to is order delivered. Run your Java program. So do one thing, error setting properties. Okay, so I will come back to this, like boolean we will take tomorrow. So let me do one thing. I will just disable only boolean part. Okay, we will see. I will give very clear. So it's all about problem with is only. So I'm just disabling. We will just understand about the list of values, at least for today's purpose. Okay, I just deleted is Boolean. We will take that part tomorrow with respect to character and all, single char data type and everything. We will cover that part, okay? So it's all about the is method problem. I will come back to that. So now execute our program with respect to list of values. Run as Java application. So again it is problem. Error breed creating the defined file. Nested exception is not writable property. Exception invalid property is order delivered. Where it is? I disabled it. Control F. Okay, in the beans.xml. Sorry. Here also you need to. I'm commenting it out. Okay, we will see same example in tomorrow's class. Okay, so assume like we do have only 3 properties. Run as Java application. So see here, it is injecting your long value out of integer range this is, and it is injecting your double values. Even it is injecting the list of values. Even it is injecting the list of values. So is it clear how it is injecting list of values? Now for example, I'm going to give you an assignment, okay? So the assignment is, please try to inject set of values. Set values. That means in place of list, you need to take here as a set. So something you don't want to allow any duplicate names and all, whatever it is. Purpose, you know that set purpose and all. So in place of set, you need to inject set of the values. So for that, Spring provided a separate tag called as set. That's all. Set tag. So as part of set property tag, you have to use set. Inside set, you are going to use again the property, child property as a value only. Okay, as part of list, as part of set, you are going to use again the same value. That's all. See here, even if you want, I can quickly change it to the set. You can take, or you can try also. So see here, I'm not doing any change. Set I modified. Import the package. So here you need to make it as a set, and here set, right? Set of string. So here in place of list, set. That's all. So it is almost replacing list with the set. That's all. So try with your example. Run as Java application. See, it is injecting the set of values. For example, what is the default behavior of the set? It will not allow duplicate values. Yeah, session is going to be closed by 9:30. Don't worry. Still we have 2-3 minutes. Get is order delivered. Okay, we will see that Ashish tomorrow, Boolean part and all. Okay, set is order delivered. Okay, that we will take tomorrow. I don't want to waste time now. Get is order delivered. Yeah. So you welcome for your suggestions. Okay, thanks for your suggestions. We will see that part tomorrow. So just I replace the list with this set. You can practice with the list and set. And what is the default behavior of the set? Removing the duplicate things. Even though if you are adding the duplicate values, it will not maintain the duplicate values. For example, let's try to give Coke 2 times. Let's try to give Coke 2 times and try to print it. Try to execute your program. Go to your main application. Run your Java application. See, even internally it is maintaining Coke only 1 time. If you made it as a list again, if you added Coke 2 times, you will get Coke value 2 times. So that means duplicates will be printed as part of the list objects. So it is all about the core Java functions. Okay. So what you have to do, please try with list of values, set of values with respect to setter injection, string properties, primitive properties, and everything. Okay. So you can try with this single character ch also. It is also straightforward. Boolean is just, it is all about setter getter method problem, which is generated by the Eclipse. I will come back the clear picture tomorrow. It's okay. So we will see that part tomorrow. So anything else before that? Swapnil, I think it It's already shared the all demo classes links, okay, in the starting itself. If someone copied that link, those links, can you please share in the chat with me? Okay, I got it. For you, I am sharing all the last 7 classes, and I will share Google Drive link one more time, whoever is missed it, everyone. So these are the last 7 classes, and I'm going to share you the Google Drive, where I'm uploading all the content, our images, our discussion, our examples and everything, material, everything is going to be. Okay, so I given Google Drive link. So what else you need from my side? Send the Google Drive link. Yes, I sent you Abhinav Singh. Okay. So Avinash, I sent you right now. I sent to everyone. So you have to download it, man. So everyone is having download things. You have to download. You have to extract the zip files. Okay, I'm uploading probably as a zip files. You can download everything and you can extract and you can open it. Okay. So it's a simple. Bean factor is not accessible. What is this error, sir? So just try to import the package proper. Saurabh, import the packages properly, or you just try to attach the Spring 5 jar files proper. You should see 5 jar files there, and you should see the import statement and everything properly. Then only you can do that. Sir, can I add element in array object also same by list? No. So it is supporting only collection objects. There is no array concept supported by the Spring. Okay. So please share XML files in Google Drive, sir. Yeah, yes, I will share. I'm uploading the entire links. If you are on the screen sharing, if you see here, the entire project I'm uploading with the date. For example, today date is 4th, right? So yesterday I uploaded as a 03 July. So just download it, extract the zip file. You will see the content inside that. See here, you will have all our things. You will have all our source files or whatever it is. Okay. See here, you have XML files also. Everything is including as a zip file itself. I'm not doing anything. I'm simply zipping it and I'm uploading based on the date. Okay, just check based on the date. I'm giving all the convenience to you. So just try to download it. Did we write any valid Java code? Yes, we will. We are already writing valid Java code only. What is the question, Rajesh? Both sir, Rajesh. We are already writing valid Java code only. If you are not writing valid Java code, then you will get compile time errors. Okay, so Boolean we will try tomorrow. Yes, I will come back with Boolean properly, the setter getter method problem. So React.js example we will see in the last. Right now, it's not part of the training also, but anyway, we will try to take one example when Spring MVC comes. So by using Spring MVC only, we can write down the web applications. We can integrate with the front end part. Until that, we can't do anything with the front end. Okay. So if people whoever want to left, they can left. I'm just taking the doubts. I'm not discussing any technical things. Google Drive link I'm sending one more time. Even I'm sending that is a not one proper one. Google Drive. Yeah, so what I'm sending right now, it's a parent folder link. Okay, so here you have everything. Yeah, hash map we will take. Okay, hash map, hash table we will take. Okay, so hash map we have. So only thing is map tag. We will come back that tomorrow. So list and set are similar. That's why I given immediately set. We will take map also tomorrow. So can you share the drive link, please? Okay. So let's connect and